up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Big Tuddies Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your boy Sammer, hanging out with Poppy Latte and Tony. What's up, boys?
What's going on?
I'm ready for football. I don't know about you guys.
Me too.
We got football.
This little stretch, man, it's painful. You know, you get waivers and then come on Thursday.
Hey, so speaking of Thursday, we got some matchups coming up. But before we dive into the full-on Week 3 preview, let's go ahead and answer some of your questions and get you guys ready for Week 3 with some of your lineup questions. Right off the top of the dome, we have a question. Do you start Prescott or Trevor Lawrence? Start with you, Tony.
I think that's an easy one. Going Prescott. And Prescott's got too many weapons. Tony Pollard's been extremely efficient with everything. He's highly involved in the pass game. Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk on Prescott. Trevor Lawrence has had a little bit of trouble so far. I think he's not sitting as good as we all thought he would.
Also,
what do you think, Poppy?
I agree. It's Dak. I mean, you're going against the Cardinals. And they're not going to do what the Giants did, which was, sleepwalk through the first half. The Cowboys defense is going to give nothing but opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Right, working with some short field, it's going to be.
How many times do you think the Dallas defense scores?
That's a great over.
Over under 2 touchdowns, 2 tutties.
I'm hitting over two tutties. Just going to. I mean, they are ridiculous. And then Trevor
over on the turnovers too.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but the Texans are not an easy matchup when it comes to the receiver position. So that's gonna, that's gonna affect the quarterback. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they held lots of receivers last year, and that's kind of continued a trend. Tony, am I right or wrong on that? Yeah. Houston is sneaky good against receivers, right?
Yeah. They've got a decent secondary. Not that it can't be exploited, but it's something to think about.
Definitely not the situation that Arizona's in, which is they suck.
Ooh.
Yeah. Next question we have is from Salty Buccaneer. Actually, friend of the show.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
He says, I drafted Bijan and Chubb back-to-back. Absolutely heartbreaking that Chubb is done. Tony, what do you recommend to hold me over until Jonathan Taylor comes back off my IR? I have Algier, Penny, Kendre Miller, Sean Tucker. Rashawn Johnson is available in free agency, along with Justin Hill and Tony Jones Jr. Latte?
Well,
Latte's jumping in. He has his hand up.
Sorry.
Come on.
For this week, for this particular week, just this week, because his teammate comes back the next week, I'm 1,000% in on Kendre Miller. I love the matchup. He's fully healthy. He's full go. There's nobody else. Jamal Williams is hurt now. There's nobody there to compete with him. He's going to get the rock a bunch. Maybe Taysom Hill, but it's going to be Kendre Miller's show, at least until next week when Alvin Kamara's suspension is over. But for this week, Salty, I'm going with Kendre Miller.
I think he lucked out. He's got a couple of good pieces, already on his bench. I think Algier's even good enough to throw in that slot for the week. He's not. What's that?
You going to start 2 Falcons running backs?
Oh, yeah, he's got Bijan. So,
Bijan.
That's going to be a little tough.
Yeah.
But, if Roshan's out there, that's also an option to stash, I think, just as fantasy advice going forward. I think we haven't really seen much out of Khalil, so I think Roshan will take over that backfield. So if you have the opportunity, maybe drop somebody that's at the back of the bench, pick up Roshan, just in case.
I'm curious what you guys think. He mentioned he has Jonathan Taylor on his IR, and I've seen that in a couple of leagues that I'm in as well. What do you guys think of that strategy? Is Jonathan Taylor worth keeping on your... I mean, he hasn't played yet. He hasn't seen preseason. He's already got some, issues with the team and the contract. All that stuff that's kind of going into all of that. Is he even worth keeping on?
I'm really freaked out about Taylor. I really am. I mean, we saw lower production out of him last year because of the lingering injury. There's been so much speculation about what's been politics and what's been injury this preseason leading into the season. We've had all the issues. He had no camp. Oh, I feel really scared.
I respect and understand where Tony's coming from, right? No training camp. If you played ball, or, you talk to players, You gotta get calloused up. You gotta work your way up a little bit. That's where you get those soft tissue injuries, the hamstrings, calves, stuff like that. When you don't play, when you're not out there just grinding your craft.
And the line. You gotta be out there. You gotta have that feeling. You gotta be able to feel the line, know where they're gonna be. He hasn't had that yet.
But Tony, as it relates to Sammer's question, how do I feel about it overall? If you got good value and you got him super late, I saw him in one of my drafts. He went like in the 7th, 8th round, and you just throw him on your IR and it's not affecting your bench. I don't mind that at all. I mean, you're talking about a potential. I'm not saying he is, but a potential league winner. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, we've seen it when he's right. Holy shit. Lots of tutties when he's right.
And we could see the momentum turn around a little bit in Indy this year. I mean, I think we're going to touch on that a little bit later. We've already touched on it a bit. They've got a winner in the works, I believe. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of winners and losers, we had 2 Monday Night Football games on Monday night. Let's start with heartbreaking news. Nick Chubb goes down. Terrible injury. Looks very similar to what happened to him in college. That was the Browns and the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Tony, we'll let you start with this one. First of all, let's talk about the Monday Night Football matchup. What happened in terms of the players themselves, and then we'll kind of dive into what people should do if they are Chubb owners currently.
Yeah, so we'll kind of talk about Chubb last, so we can lead that into it. As far as that Steelers-Browns game went, yeah, I mean, it's difficult for me. Steelers were down, wideout 1, Johnson's out. Really hoping that some guys could step up. Najee's just not really getting much done. I really like to see some more speed out of him. Come on, Najee. Bro.
It might be the end of an era, bro. It might be.
It could. I mean, we might see Warren get worked in more here very soon, and I'm all for it because I've seen great looks out of Warren. He's flashed before, and I don't know if they're just filling Najee's cleats with sand before he gets out there, but Pickett is struggling, and we need a ray of light. There's not anybody out there that's really making plays besides Pickens right now. And we faced some tough defenses so far. They're going to shut Pickens down. Hopefully this week we can get it back together. But Pickett's not the same guy we saw in preseason. And I'm it's breaking my heart.
You guys,
I always forget about that. You're a Steelers fan.
Yeah, baby.
In case you guys didn't know,
Shield behind me.
He's a Steelers fan. We won't judge him. The Browns, Tony, is it time to panic? I mean, they traded a bunch for Deshaun Watson, paid this man a unprecedented, unheard of, pissed off 31 other owners contract. Lamar Jackson was about to hold out, threw a wrench into the entire game of the NFL with this ridiculous contract. That, by the way, didn't happen with anybody else. Jalen Hurts didn't get that.
Nobody.
Or they were like, no,
Wasted.
we're not
Wasted
going down this rabbit hole. But is it time to panic? Because Baker Mayfield looks like he's outplaying Deshaun for $4 million over in Tampa. I'm just saying.
Not to mention, Watson's pulling douche moves. It might be a little biased because of my squad, but
no, he's a douche. He's a douche.
To be out there pulling the same egregious penalty twice in one game and
put your hands on
making contact with a ref.
Soft.
Yeah.
Soft.
Bruh.
Soft.
No. Yeah, I don't like Watson at all. I really thought he looked horrible last year. It's surprising to me. We see these guys every now and then that just forget how to play football. I mean, I know Watson had some time off, but yeah,
he had 2 years. He had 2 years away from the game.
Justin Fields is kind of getting typecasted back into his role that didn't work before. But I mean, we saw, the year that Carson Wentz took the Eagles all the way to the postseason, and then Foles finished off the season, and Wentz comes back and doesn't know how to throw the ball anymore. We saw the same thing out of hate to mention him, but Colin Kaepernick. A lot of people make it into some other type of political thing as to the reason why he's not playing football. But his last 2 seasons, What happened? Your mechanics were gone. Why do these guys just forget how to throw the ball, forget how to move their feet? Deshaun Watson is falling in that category to me. I was kind of listening to everybody thinking that he would take that step back up this year. He's not. He sucks. He was a waste of money. You shouldn't have gave him a guaranteed contract. Really surprising. Someone gets the first person to ever get a guaranteed contract is under, investigation for however many counts or whatever. We're not going to get into all that, but what are you doing, Cleveland? Again, pulling bonehead moves. I just got made fun of for sticking up for their fan base, but this is why. This is it, because the fan base is trying to get behind their city's team, and whatever the poison or the cancer is there just keeps making horrible mistakes.
It's just Cleveland's going to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to Cleveland. It is what it is.
Exactly.
I'm going to touch on the next Monday night game, the first one, which was Carolina Saints. Fuck the Saints. Excuse me. I don't know what had something in my throat. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I heard that. It was weird. Drink.
Wow. Wow. If you're a Carolina fan.
Wow, if you're a fan of both teams. That was one of the most boring things I've ever had to watch.
Guys, I'm not kidding. Real talk. Sammer is like, he can tell the future. We're about to record Tuddies on Monday night, and I'm like, Sammer, we got to get it out of here, bro. We don't want to miss the games. We got 2 games going on. He's like, don't worry, bro. The Saints game is only going to be a field goal game, maybe 3-3, maybe 6-3 or something like that by halftime. Sammer, shut up. You're crazy. And we leave here, and it's 6-6 or 6-3. I'm like, what?
What? 3-3.
Hey, guys, Sammer has the script. He has the script, okay?
Oh, listen.
He's got
a script. The most entertaining part of that night was when I was watching it on the split screen with my YouTube TV, which you guys should all do.
So good.
And then one of the games also went to split screen within the split screen. So I was basically watching split screen.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's the most entertaining those games got.
So it's like it's screen within the screen within the screen?
I was wondering if that's how they got around.
Section, yes.
They can show 2 games, but if they show split screen, do they get viewership for both? Is that what they were trying to do?
So not everyone's at home watching it on YouTube's multi-view feature, right, on YouTube TV. And so ESPN and ABC, obviously both under the Disney umbrella, ESPN was like trying to make sure the people watching this game got a little bit of taste of that game. And then the same people watching that game, make sure they get a little bit of taste of this game. Not thinking, hey, there's a bunch of people watching it on a split screen already, so now we're just making it look retarded and ridiculous. And it was absolutely terrible. But that was still more entertaining than either of those 2 games, which is sad. Sorry to say that, Tony. I know you're a massive Steelers fan.
It is what it is, man. I expected to be in a rebuild, so the preseason gave me like half a chub, and I was super excited that we might be something more than we are. And it's still early in the season, but
Sorry, Latte. I hijacked your entire point about the Panthers and the Saints.
So, just not much to write home about. Chris Olave had a nice bomb that kind of saved his day. Phenomenal, stupid catch, by the way. And
Carr looks bad.
I was going to get there. Carr looks really bad, and Olave stepped out of bounds like by a he could have had a monster game. I don't like the Saints, but I got to call it like I call it, right? We talk about Tuddies here. Some people have Olave. I'm not going to judge you. But Carr looks like crap, and we're paying $4 million for him. And we're paying what? You're paying $32
million? Don't say we.
You said we the entire time you talked about the Steelers, sir. You did the entire time.
That's my squad.
Counted it.
But you're talking about Derek Carr.
Well, no, we're paying $4 million for Baker, I said, and they're paying $32
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
For Carr. And we're getting better production. But anyways, he saved his day with that one bomb. Other than that, Carr looked like crap. Kamara will be back soon. We'll see how that works out. As it relates to the Panthers, yikes. Old man Thielen saved his day with a touchdown at the end there that really didn't matter because the Saints just got the ball and kneeled it. So it meant nothing. It was like the true definition of a garbage touchdown. Miles Sanders, I might worry. 14 carries, 43 yards. Not bueno. 3 targets, 4 catches. I don't even know how many yards was it. What was it? It just 3 receptions for 4 yards.
Of both of those
teams.
It
was 3 out of 4. No, it was 4-4.
Of both of those teams with Jamal out, what, you've named basically one guy that should be on a fantasy football roster? Olave. Yeah, so it was like, what a terrible game.
A lot of hype for Jawan Johnson in the offseason. Hasn't lived up to it. Late sleeper tight end that people were targeting if they went, later great at tight end. and Jawan has not delivered. We'll see with Kamara. I mean, he looked good in preseason in that last dress rehearsal game, but so far not so good for the
Juwan
Saints.
has the ability, but I think it's going to take Derek to get the ball moved around and start making some completions. Yeah, Juwan is athletic, and I still believe in him. He might end up just being a matchup streamer this year, but you know how tight end can just fall off a cliff week to week. So if you need to spot start him, he may be viable later on. But other than that.
Right after we finish that recording, we go home, we watch Monday Night Football. Massive injury news happens. Like I talked about a little bit earlier, Chubb out for the year, might be career ending. So that kind of rolls us right into the next line of things we're going to talk about, which are injuries and NFL news and kind of the ripple effect of that. So either one of you guys can start off with this one. Chubb owners, what are you doing here? Well, what is the plan of action? The Browns just signed Kareem Hunt. It looks like they're going to be bringing him still as an RB2 to join the team. Maybe he becomes RB1. But what is the plan here if you're a Nick Chubb owner?
So first and foremost, I just want to say we talked about this, which is ironic and it sucks. We talked about this on Monday Night Football with Barkley and other guys that got injured. It just sucks. And Tony would attest to this. It's a rival team. I'm sure he's had screamed at Chubb a lot through the TV. But Chubb is one of the most awesome dudes in the league, one of the most humble guys in the league. Just a stud, just a lunch pail guy. Comes
healthy, buddy.
Just works and does his job, and it absolutely sucks. There's no other way to put it. Prayers up to him. I hope he gets better.
Sure.
If he wants to play, I hope he plays again. If he doesn't, and this is it, it was a great career, man. And dude, it just sucks. It just sucks.
We all love our teams. We love to talk smack, but when it comes to a guy's health, especially a guy that keeps his nose clean, is a great player. He's a great example for the league, and he's one of the best runners in the league. Had he gone to a more prolific team, Chubb could be a perennial number one running back, like the first overall pick. He could be up there competing with McCaffrey. Hate to see it. I really hope he can play football again. It was like you said, it was the same knee, and if you haven't seen it, it's not worth going out to watch the clip. It's brutal, and it looks like it's going to be a long road to hoe for.
It apparently needs two
Chubb.
surgeries now too. A secondary surgery will be required after the initial surgery to fix what happened.
Well, yeah, no,
it's usually not a good sign.
Dislocation, MCL, LCL. They came out this morning and they said, "Oh yeah, and his meniscus. It's the entire knee. It's the entire.
I call it how it is. Especially when it comes to fantasy. Chubb was a stud, and it really sucks. I mean, we've just had these season-ending injuries so early. And does it not seem like the injury bug is targeting prime time? Because
it's Monday Night Football games.
What the hell, man?
No, somebody said
we all keep sitting down so excited, and then bam.
They said the last 4 Monday Night Football games, it was like Aaron Rodgers, Chubb. It was somebody before that, though. Oh, the DeMar Hamlin thing happened where he literally passed away on the field.
Oh, my God.
Going back to last season, Monday Night Football games have been absolutely brutal.
I have never had anything.
When did the Bucs play?
I'm not talking about it. That's why I'm
just letting it go. No, we're not even previewing that game. We're not touching that game. Nope.
Just skip over it. Only 15 games that week.
But rolling into the rest of it, right, guys? Because we want to keep this short.
Yeah.
Get you the information, get in and out of here, right? The next one, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This one's
no. Hold on. We gotta talk about. First of all, if you're a Chubb owner,
my bad.
We answered the question there. Luckily, Buccaneer had a few good choices, but if you don't, of course, everyone was targeting Jerome Ford. I want to kind of put people at ease because we did see Kareem Hunt get that 1 year, $4 million deal.
Not worried about it.
Kareem Hunt is going to probably be the third down back, and he will come in there and spell, but he was available when they decided to go with Ford in the offseason, and they let Kareem continue to shop. So I think he's just going to be there as a backup to Ford. We saw Ford get a hell of a workload on Monday, and he did well. I mean, he kept just punching, and he was chunking off first downs enough to get my pressure all up. And I don't think Kareem's going to be cutting into too much production. So if you were lucky enough to get Ford, good on you. You know, there was a few options out there. You know, we may talk about some trades later also for people to kind of shop around, maybe go after some running backs now before the season, before they continue to blow up the season. But don't worry about Kareem so much.
I don't have anything to add. I agree. Kareem Hunt, remember at the end there, they were trying to. He requested a trade. They refused to trade him. So it didn't end pretty. He was averaging like under 3 yards a carry when he was there towards the end at Cleveland. He's old.
He's not the same.
There's a reason. It's not 2017, 2018 Kareem Hunt. There's a reason he was a free agent for this long. I mean, we're in week 3 and he's just not signing with the team. I'm fine. I picked up Jerome Ford. I did not have Chubb. I just had a high waiver, and I'm a douchebag. And I said I want this depth.
That's
and
messed up, man.
I stacked them. No, it's not, bro. All is fair in fact. All is fair in fantasy football, right, Tony? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's some ugly things you can pull here and there, but it's all legal unless it's collusion, right?
Yeah, man. If I have a higher waiver and I want a little bit of depth because I happen to have Saquon Barkley and Aaron Jones, I'm gonna go get that depth. Sorry if you don't like it.
I got Aaron Jones too, man. I'm stuck in that weird little spot where I don't know what I'm going to do until he comes back. But I got a stacked team, so I'm all good. I got a really good wide receiver course. So, speaking of wide receivers,
look at
St. Brown.
St.
Brown, Turf Toe. What are we doing here? Latte, you wanted to touch on him, so I'll let you take it.
I'm not going to go into as much detail with replacements and stuff like Tony could. I don't think we're at a replacement point. I think this is going to linger, and it's got me worried. Turf Toe's no joke. That's a son of a bitch.
What was it? I mean, I know it's been a few years, but remember when Devontae had turf toe, Devontae Adams, that it was painful because he'd be good, he'd be practicing, then he'd go out there and you're not getting the same performance. It's just what you're going to have to expect with turf toe. You're not going to get the huge games out of Amon-Ra.
And what's got me worried specifically about Amon-Ra and why I brought him up is that he's a volume guy, right? You got, just like running backs, you got explosive running backs that can just take it to the house, and you got guys that are just going to volume their way to production. That's how they're going to get you your points. Amon-Ra's a volume guy. So it's not like he can go out there like Christian Watson, for example, when he's right, catch 3 passes, but he's going to give you, 25 points because he caught 2 bombs that he took to the house. That's not Amon-Ra's game. Amon-Ra's PPR guy's going to PPR his way to it. So he's going to have to get a lot of snaps. He's going to have to get out there and run routes. He's going to have to catch the ball, get hit, get stepped on. It's just, I don't like it. That
said, I think you're, for people streaming or maybe a flex option, I think Josh Reynolds gets a bump at least for this week, to see how Amon-Ra heals up. And I also think, I'm going to continue to pump this kid up as long as he's seeing as much usage as he is. Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta has been great. He's been there for Goff. Good for you, buddy. Damn. and
That's what I was going to ask. The ripple.
He's been highly efficient.
Usage. Yeah, I was going to ask you the ripple effect. Latte's talking about how much usage, and he's one of those guys that's a volume guy. Does that bump up other options on the Lions' offense as a result of that now?
Absolutely.
Jameer Gibbs.
I was already predicting that this was going to be the week we get to see Gibbs just fire out of a cannon, and now that they're at home, Goff is amazing at home, and now you have a kind of limited Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I'm with it. Laporta, Reynolds, and Gibbs, all bumps. I think in order, I would say Gibbs is probably going to, and then Laporta, then Reynolds.
And
I think Gibbs.
Those guys are fast, especially Gibbs. I mean, him on turf. This
I
would be the
can't
week
wait
to call some screen passes, turn him into a Kamara 2.0, turn him into Reggie Bush, where you just take all those targets you were going to give St. Brown and just toss him at Gibbs. That'd be awesome. I have him on one of my teams. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
We're all starving. We want to see it.
Yes. Saquon. They announced today's Wednesday, they announced Saquon will not be playing the Thursday night football game.
We touched on it. We touched on it before the Monday night game for the Tuesday episode. I'm not starting Breda. Just move on. Yep. Just bench Saquon. Hopefully have a good option like we've discussed, some of the ones that we discussed for Chubb and stuff. and just ride it out. I'm not starting Brady against the Niners. I'm not.
On the Giants side of the ball, I'm out on everybody but Waller.
Waller, that's pretty much it.
Waller is surprisingly actually putting up some yardage, even though he hasn't really made anything to grab our attention. But yeah, well, I mean, if he starts to get some tutties, he's going to rip up those ranks, and we're going to start looking at him as one of these big tight ends again. But I just think Daniel Jones was able to pull it off against the Vikings, but they're pretty susceptible. It's not going to happen against the Niners. I'm out on Daniel Jones this week. There's no pass catching options besides Waller. You got no Saquon. I think it's going to be ugly for New York.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Tony, you meant the Arizona Cardinals, not the Vikings, that Daniel Jones was able to pull it off this last week.
The Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, yeah. Was it week one that he did it?
He shocked the Arizona Cardinals.
Week one, I don't remember who they played week one, but we played the Vikings. It wasn't the Vikings. You said Vikings.
They played the Dallas
Cowboys. Oh, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, 40-3. They got destroyed.
Couple other injury updates. Eckler back at practice today.
Woo!
Today's Wednesday.
Brandon
Ayuk's X-rays came back negative, and OBJ is dealing with an ankle. Not sure if you guys have anything to add to those three updates, but we thought we'd mention them. If you guys do have anything to add, go ahead right now.
I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, I'm just kind of out on OBJ anyway. As far as he goes, I didn't believe in him.
Who was in? That's what
Baltimore.
I'm so sick of that guy's story, dude.
I was never in.
Yeah, that guy's just Don't even.
It's been a long.
If he just retired, it would just be best for everybody at this point.
I think so too. I mean, his name is just still carrying chalk from the Eli days and the crazy catch. He's out there. He's filling in for teams basically.
It's gonna be over soon, anyways. He started to date a Kardashian, Kim Kardashian. So
yeah.
It's a wrap.
It's time, dude. It's time to let Zay just take over. Before we jump into all the weekend's matchups, I'm going to have you guys talk a little bit about maybe some targets and trades that people should be going after. Maybe they're, suffering through all these lately season-ending injuries. Guys that they could target, guys that they could maybe try to steal in a trade earlier in the season as opposed to later when things get a little bit hairier.
I'll go first. I've got a few. I think two big receivers that we've seen little production out of so far that you may be able to get out there and get a trade done. AJ Brown. AJ Brown is going to show out at some point. He's been really close to big games here already. There's been a couple of penalties that did get called, some that didn't, that cost him severely. And Hurts is going to turn it around. They're going to put their team together. They've got a great line, which is going to give them time. And I would go after AJ Brown right now while you can. Same thing with Jamar Chase. If you can find that league owner that is really just getting salty because of the draft capital that they spent, you could take a piece, possibly, like a DK Metcalf or something like that and pair them with a +1 and go out and try and get Jamar Chase. Do it right now because he's coming. It's going to happen. He is a top 3 receiver in the league. He's one of the most talented receivers out there. Go get him now. Try and get him now.
Yeah.
Pop, you got anybody in mind?
Yeah, I got a couple. I agree with the two that you said, by the way. Love those. There's a lot of people that are angry right now. They spent high draft capital. They're not getting production. They're likely 1-1, maybe 0-2. They're pissed. And
the situations look a little bad for those teams, right?
Oh, yeah. Joe Burrow's hurt. It doesn't look great.
Yeah.
So go capitalize on it. I have drafted this guy, so I'm not trading him. But I see where Tony's coming from because some people have drafted him as a backup, and I love where AR-15 is going. I had several conversations with Tony about this. I had several conversations with Sammer about this. Sammer gave his opinion on it last week where, that coach that from the Eagles, he's literally following the same mold and the same path that they did with Jalen Hurts, except this kid is bigger, faster, stronger. He's an athletic freak. There were some concerns coming out of college with health. He's already has a concussion. So maybe it's time to go, snag him for cheap and trade for him, because if he's sitting on the back of somebody's bench and now with the concussion, he could potentially be a league winner on the back end. And Zay Flowers. I like me some Zay Flowers. OBJ's, the ankles, banged up. Bateman's never been a bill of health. You got Andrews, you got Flowers.
Yeah.
That's it. Those are the top 2 targets. And with the new offense, with my God, Georgia's offensive coordinator, he was offensive coordinator here in Tampa for a while. Sammer.
Todd Monken.
Todd Monken. Todd Monken loves to air it out. So I love it. You've already seen stupid target share for Zay Flowers. So if you can steal yourself some Zay Flowers, go steal him.
He's grabbing that number 1 spot with white knuckles.
I don't think you're going to steal him. Yeah, I have Zay Flowers. I can't even figure out a way to get him on my starting unit at this point. So I'm willing to give him up.
Brag.
So yeah, come shop. Yeah,
it feels like humble.
I think I'm going to get the deal at that point. Like, listen, I got this guy on the bench. He's going to blow up. He's the next, he's the next big thing, right? I don't know. I can't even get him on my roster. Can't get him to start. Got so many studs. What are you going to give me for this guy? I do have a crappy, bum ankle with this Aaron Jones character. So I think if you have Zay Flowers, go shop Zay Flowers. If you don't have play. It's just maybe you're like me, 2-0, crazy top the league, the whole deal.
I have a question for both of you. Tony, obviously, I'll take your expert opinion. And then Sammer, just as a regular old football player, ham and egger that just plays ball and trying to learn like us.
Loves ball.
Loves ball. Just loves ball. Ball is life. Would you trade high now, coming off that game, only 2 catches? Would you try and move Garrett Wilson, or are you holding?
Nah, keeping him. Guy's a dog. I'm not getting rid of dogs. I don't care who the quarterback is. He's a dog.
I'm trying to move him. It's worth kicking the tires. Go out there and see what you could get for him. Obviously you're not going to take peanuts because he is still going to be the number 1 target, and we've seen that he's a playmaker, right? So as long as Zach Wilson can get the ball in the air, there's going to be some plays made. But
I got a couple for you.
His ceiling has severely lowered without Aaron Rodgers. So if you can get a valuable trade for him, go ahead. Same thing with the guys I said. If you can get a couple of studs, if somebody's willing to trade you the farm for AJ Brown, always listen to trades. Always listen.
I got a couple examples. Would you trade him Christian Watson straight up?
I like what Tony said. He's a playmaker. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is, honestly. He did it last year without Aaron Rodgers.
I actually disagree with Tony. First time ever. But this is what I love. I love this. We're not yes men here. I disagree. I think what took a hit for Garrett Wilson was his floor. I think the ceiling can always be there because he is a playmaker. He can always go off. He can always catch a bomb, etc. But I think the floor's gone. That expectation where I know I'm going to get at least 15 points here. That's gone. Because it could be 20 or it could be shit. It could be 3. Zach Wilson.
I hear what you're saying, but to me, the way I see it is he's been compressed, right? So yeah, the floor and the ceiling, because we've seen Aaron Rodgers, especially in the Jordy days, where he will hyper target his hot guy. So it'll just be big play after big play, where I think Zach Wilson is only going to have the ability to facilitate 1, maybe 2 of those big plays. And yeah, I mean, if they're deep in their own territory, he could end up with Garrett has the ability to rip off 120 yards in 2 plays, but I just don't. I think the huge explosions that I had in my head with Aaron Rodgers just aren't going to happen. And I guess that's the way I explain it.
You have to keep in mind the offensive coordinator, though, can create opportunities for this guy in a lot of different ways. He doesn't need Zach to go out there and do Aaron Rodgers type things. You can get him on an end around. You can get him on a wide receiver screen. You can get him on a little bubble, in the middle of the field. You can generate yardage for this guy.
Wait, Sam,
and remember,
that's allowed, Sammer?
He did it with, if I'm correct, I believe he did it with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams for years. Mm-hmm. And so it's not necessarily just the quarterback. So when you said earlier he's a playmaker, that's my personal opinion. He's a playmaker. Who else are you going to throw the ball to if you're Zach Wilson, right? And who else are you going to create opportunities for if you're the offensive coordinator there. Hackett with the Jets. That's the guy. I'm not giving him up for anything. I don't care.
I love what you said there, Sam.
Not for anything?
Because that's the argument that I've been having within my home leagues, right? Is that people keep throwing me crap for him, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, he's the number one option. I don't care who's throwing the ball. If he's getting 15 targets a game from Zach Wilson, you know what? If 50% of them are bad, I'll take 7 solid targets. It's Garrett freaking Wilson, bro.
You could argue he's the first read on every single pass route.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
I mean, what's his name coming over from wherever he came from? I can't remember. The old cat, the veteran they signed just to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Cobb's not getting Cobb's not getting the ball from Zach Wilson. Okay, he's only here because of Aaron Rodgers. So you got Wilson. Wilson is the guy. That's it.
He hasn't been cut yet since Aaron got hurt.
And the coaches aren't dumb. They know that. Like, this is, if we're gonna win games with our defense playing the way they play and our offense being in the hands of this young quarterback, we got to figure out ways to get the ball to our playmakers. He's number one at the top of that. He's probably 1, 2, 3, and 4 on that list of playmakers on the sheet.
We gotta go into the matchups. But Tony, rapid fire, no rankings, just gut. Are you trading Garrett Wilson for Watson?
No.
Okay. Are you trading Garrett Wilson straight up for Mike Evans?
Yes. Yeah.
Guy's stud.
I mean, Mike Evans is the number 2 on the year right now. I don't know if he's exactly going to stay in number 2, but man, he's on fire.
Tough matchups coming up right now with Philly secondary, whatever, but their pass rush, and then you got New Orleans, who notorious do well, and then you have the bye weeks. That's why I was asking.
All right, let's dive into the NFL weekend, week 3. Let's start Falcons, Lions. Tony.
Falcons side of the ball, obviously starting Bijan. Sit Pitts. Pitts is, I think at this point, we're going to have to see something and for multiple weeks. So sit him. Not starting Ritter. Excuse me.
Lions?
Yeah, Lions. I'm going all anybody that's starting for the Lions this week. They do so well at home, so yeah, you're definitely. Goff is one of my starts of the week. I'm going Goff. Obviously, Gibbs. We're all praying for that huge breakout this week. Laporta starting, Reynolds starting, even Amon-Ra. If he gets out there and he's playing, start him. Maybe throw him in your flex if he has the option. Also, don't forget, we already talked about Giants-Niners, but you're going to want to make sure you take those guys out of your flex. And we didn't talk about the Niners starts. I would actually, just jumping over to that game real quick, if you have other options besides Ayuk, we didn't really touch on his injury too much. I think he's going to be limited, and I think they got plenty of weapons. They're facing the Giants. They don't really have to use them. So Debo is a smash start this week. I think he's going to get an uptick in work, and obviously C-Mac. Kittle's been efficient with the usage that he's got, but he hasn't got many looks. So he's just been underutilized. If you have another option, maybe look that way, but you're probably starting Kittle too. Poppy, who do you got in that Falcons-Lions game?
Falcons-Lions game? I'm going to go Lions at home.
No upset?
No upset. No, I'm going with the Lions. Jared Goff is a beast at home. I think you're going to see the coming out party of the rookies, Laporta and Gibbs this week. Just got a hunch. Yeah. And Sammer said it earlier. Get the ball in space to your playmakers, i.e., screens, bubble screens, end rounds, little drag routes. Just get the ball to your players in space. Why, for the love of God, can't the Falcons figure that out with Pitts? Why does every target have to be 25 yards downfield? Like, you could just give him the ball in space. He's an athlete. My God. What are we doing?
Maybe it's not Pitts at this. Maybe it's something with Pitts at this point.
No.
Maybe he's not a great route runner. Maybe he's not understanding the playbook. Maybe he's not giving confidence, body language to his quarterback. Who knows? I don't care. I'm a Bucs fan. Hope he never does anything well. Don't care if you guys own him. Sorry, not sorry. Next matchup: Chargers, Vikings. We'll start with you on that one, Latte. This one is going to be a fun one to watch, in my opinion.
Oh, it's going to be a shootout, dude. You're talking 2-0-2 teams.
The battle for 0-3.
Yeah, they're
slinger quarterbacks, all of it.
Somebody's going 0-3. they're going to be scrapping, fighting for their playoff life, for their season life.
For real.
They're both good offenses. Got JJ on one side. I'm starting Addison this week because it's going to be a fucking shootout. It's going to be so much fun to watch. If you're a Madison order, yikes.
Yeah, the Vikings, I was going to say.
We got some news there.
Yeah, Vikings just traded for Cam Akers. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Latte, but I was going to mention that before you go into the playmakers for the Vikings.
Heard about Madison before, you should be pretty worried now. That tells you how they feel in the building. You're obviously starting JJ. You're going to start Addison. My start of the week, I'm not going to give it up yet. But on the Chargers side, you're starting Keenan Allen. You're starting, Mike Williams. You're starting all the regular guys. Eckler practiced today. That's freaking amazing. That means he's probably trending in the right direction. I didn't like what his coach said over the weekend, which was we're not sure when he's coming back. There's no timeline.
Yeah. Little gamesmanship
what
from these guys.
There's no timeline, bro. I need a timeline. So
gamesmanship.
I'm happy with it. There's going to be no defense on this game. Take the over, whatever the over-under is. Where's it at? Chargers Vikings.
Doesn't matter.
51.5. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over.
Hammer it. Hell yeah. Tony?
I mean, if Eckler plays, I'm starting him. I would say that. You definitely. I feel the same way. I'm even going to start KJ Osborne. He's looked great over the first 2 weeks. He's outperformed Addison. But I think all three receivers get some work this week. I think they're all startable. The other guy that I would like to mention that has to be started, TJ Hawkinson. Dude is beasting, and two tutties last week. He's been getting utilized a lot down in the 20-yard, red zone, end zone. He's down in that short field. He's getting a lot of looks. So definitely starting Hawkinson. Might even be a trade target, if you're out there looking. Charger side of the ball, starting Keenan. You're starting Herbert. You're starting everybody over there. I might pull back a little bit on old Mount Everett, but if you're in a pinch, you might have to start him. But if not, if you're looking at some decent guys on your free agency, hit us up on Twitter and we'll let you know.
All right, next one is Saints and the Green Bay Packers. Tony, you tackle this one because if I ask Latte, he's gonna get very upset.
Get a little heated.
Yeah, let him kind of digest this game a little bit while you talk about it. If he has anything to add, he can add, of course. Saints, Packers, Tony, who are we starting and who are we staying away from?
So I think this is going to be a closer game. I think that we're looking at there's a weird thing going on, right? We had a question last week. A guy asked me if he should start Jordan Love or Justin Fields. And I told him Justin Fields. Justin Fields ended up underperforming and looking like crap. But I knew he was going to throw a few picks. I thought he'd have some rushing yards. I couldn't really tell somebody to start Jordan Love in his second, game as the starter, and no wideout one, no running back one. We're not quite sure what's going to happen with those still. And if you look at the lines, Jordan is getting by with touchdowns. As far as him being out there and being efficient and making these throws, he's one of the worst in the league. So the points have been there for fantasy, but if those touchdowns disappear, we're going to see a lot rougher games. They are at Lambeau. We're looking at a 42 over-under, so kind of middling score.
Saints have a good defense, too.
Saints have a great defense. And right now,
those touchdown passes you're talking about could be this week. Could be.
I think I know you guys don't want to hear it, but I think I'm taking the Saints in this one. Carr's got a history of really bombing one game and turning around and just slinging the rock and getting it done the next game. But they are at Lambeau.
Garbage. He's looked like garbage. Latte, tell this man who you should start on the Green Bay Packers and who you should absolutely not start on the Saints.
Chris Washington's coming back. Chris Washington, he practiced today. He's going to absolutely
full practice.
Burn Lattimore. Because Lattimore can't hold what he can't catch up to. He's way too fast. Christian Watson is a track star.
Burning him.
When to run right past him, right? You hammer you're starting everyone, bro. because they're gonna win because fuck the Saints. Aaron Jones is back. It's gonna be beautiful. No, all jokes aside, I think healthy the Packers, Jordan Love playing within the system with Aaron Jones back, I think they can win this game.
Is he back?
I have not been who back?
Is he back?
He didn't practice today, so we'll see. He's got 2 more days to practice. All right, so we'll see. As long as he get a limited one in, he'll play. But I go back to what Sammer said. I haven't been impressed with what Carr has done. I just haven't. That's call it bias, call it unbiased, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't care. He has not looked great. Tony, you mentioned that he usually has a history of bouncing back. He does. That is a factual statement. But he didn't look great week 1 either. So there was no bounce back on Monday Night Football. I don't know. And the Packers defense, they get after it, man. They're not a great defense, but they pass rush, they get after it. So I'm going.
They're not the Panthers defense, so I understand why the Saints didn't look that good against the Panthers. But this is a team that was going against Bryce Young, who had like 69 passing yards through 2.5 quarters, and they were only up on the Panthers. They were only up on the Panthers 13-6. Okay, and everything that we heard about in that game from the announcers, how bad this Saints offense is, how it doesn't work, and it didn't look good. It doesn't look good. Could it change against the Packers defense that's nowhere near what the Panthers have? Maybe. I don't know. I'm with you, Latte. I don't play a single Saints player outside of Olave, and if I have someone better than him, I'd probably sit him too, just because they're in Lambeau. It's the Packers, and they're just not clicking. I'm sorry. If he's gonna get anything, it'll probably be one of those touchdowns like we've seen him do already this season. But he's not gonna be. He's not gonna get you 179, 10 catches, 2 tutties. We're not gonna see that from those guys. So I agree with you on that one. I had to interject there because I hate that team, and I'm being extremely unbiased with my opinion. Next one up, Texans Jaguars. What a matchup! An AFC South gem of a
barn
matchup.
burner.
Yep. Tony, we'll go with you on the start of this. Or no, actually, we'll go with Latte. Texans, Jags. Who you starting, who you sitting, and who you think wins this game?
It's Texans Jags minus 9.5, 45.5 point total. Wow. It's just going to be a snoozer, really. Trevor Lawrence did not look great last week.
Come on, T-Law.
For real, dude. The Texans, we mentioned earlier, they play pretty damn good against the pass. ETN, I guess. You're starting ETN. I mean, where you draft him, you're going to start him. You're going to start Calvin Ridley. You're going to do all that. I'm just saying start Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence with the expectation or the knowledge that Houston plays the pass very, very well. They are a shitty team, but damn it, they play the pass well. And Will Anderson so far has looked like the real deal. Hell of a pass rusher. As far as Texans, Damian Pierce, you got to get right, dude. But the offensive line's got to get right for him. I saw a crazy stat, Sammer. Check this out. How many rushing yards did Damian Pierce have last week? I know you don't know that. It's 37.
37? I thought it was 39, yeah.
37. Do you want to know how many yards he had after contact, Sammer?
35.
39.
What?
Exactly.
Possible?
Exactly. Exactly.
That is an anomaly.
He had 39.
So he lost 2 yards before contact on one of his runs?
Yes.
Well, that's because he was met in the backfield on every fucking run.
Insane, dude. Insane.
The poor kid. I mean, he's a great back, and he just that line has to get. And I mean, that's one thing I was going to say just to touch on. I mean, Stroud is making good decisions. He looks like he has great vision, and I think we're going to see the team kind of exponentially get better as they get O-line pieces back. But I think Damian Pierce is going to severely suffer until that happens, obviously, with that stat line. And, we've seen the receivers are out there getting open, and Stroud is somehow finding them. So, yeah, I mean, Nico, maybe even Tank Dell in the flex.
Sounds like don't start anybody from this game. All right, Broncos, Dolphins. Broncos, Dolphins, Tony.
We know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple one here.
We don't have to get into too much detail. We can burn through this one. Start your Dolphins. Start Raheem Mostert. And Broncos,
sit everybody.
Russell Wilson could just incinerate at any point. Not like be on fire, but actually burn to ashes. I would start Javonte Williams. I'm throwing in Jerry Jeudy if you have him because he's going to be the number one target going forward,
Sutton?
and the healthier it gets, better. Sutton, no.
I mean, is there any? So
Hopefully
let me
find
get your
someone else
guys'
to fill in this week.
I'll look it up for you right now. Hold on.
But really quick, Tony, when you go into a game like this from a fantasy perspective, where you see that one team is absolutely going to put up points, and the other team's going to be playing from behind a lot,
Garbage time.
do you still play guys like Judy and Sutton in anticipation that they're at least going to be throwing the ball to try to catch up, at least for those middle quarters of the second and third quarter, and maybe kind of eventually give up in the fourth quarter? Do you kind of bank on that, or do you just stay away from the matchup altogether because you know it's going to be playing to the defense's hand at that point?
I tend to kind of gravitate towards the wideout one. Jerry Jeudy, yes. I think he's going to benefit from it, and especially if they end up in garbage time, and the Broncos keep their starters out there. But Sutton has underperformed, and I don't believe in Russell Wilson yet.
So that's a good rule of thumb, though, throughout the season. Usually, if you got one of those kind of lopsided games, try to just lean on the wide receiver one of the team that might be playing from behind most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sutton last week, 7 targets, 5 catches, 66 yards.
Yikes. That's terrible. I could have done that.
That's not what people drafted him for.
No, not at all.
All right, next one. Titans-Browns. This
Jeez.
could be a very, very, very boring old school game.
I want to.
I don't see a lot of ball going everywhere. Go ahead, Latte.
I want to use the GIF from Dumb and Dumber with your boy was like,
Oh, were you guys just gagging? Yeah.
it's gagging, just throwing up. It's just, it's
Don't
disgusting.
play anybody other than Henry in this game, I'm assuming.
Derrick Henry, I don't mind playing Burks. He caught a bomb last week. He's an explosive receiver. It's just ugly, dude. It's just ugly. It's ugly. Tony.
Thankfully, it's a 1:00 game.
Yeah.
Browns have a good defensive line, though. I mean, I don't know if me personally, I don't know if I'm locking in on Henry if I have other options.
Where you took
Henry is actually limited today, I believe, also.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, with the draft capital you spent on Henry,
Yeah.
he's going to volume his way to touches. He's going to fall into the end zone. He might not have a 150-yard game, 120-yard game, but he might have 80, 90-yard game, 100-yard game. With a guy like Henry, what it is, dude, is that in the fourth quarter, those little body blows turn into like real body blows, and it's like, fuck, I don't want to tackle this guy again.
Yeah, you got to start him.
You got to start him. You have to start him. On the Brown side, for Jerome, I picked up Jerome. I'm probably not starting him this week. Tennessee is a tough run defense. As far as the pass game, maybe Deshaun Watson gets right. They're not very good against the pass. Hopefully, our friend of the show, friend of the pod, Sean Murphy-Bunting, steps up and does something. You know what I mean? He signed there in the offseason, but they haven't been great against the pass. So if you have any pass catchers, maybe Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, maybe Njoku gets right, but I just don't believe in Deshaun Watson. And that's the engine that runs the passing game. So if you don't believe in that, I just don't believe in Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry.
The next matchup is, I think, a sneaky one. Might be entertaining. Could be even a shootout.
Here we go.
Commanders quarterback is actually surprising me, to be honest. So Bills Commanders, it's in DC. Tony, what are we doing in this matchup here other than
I have a question for Tony.
Shoot.
Is it time to panic with Jahan Dotson, bro? I drafted him everywhere. I love my shares of Jahan Dotson. He's getting targeted, but the A dot is it's crap. I think it's under 5 yards or 5.5 yards. He's not getting the targets I'm looking for. Is it time to panic? Because Sam Howell's looked okay. Brian Robinson looks really good. Scary Terry had a stupid catch in the end zone over 2 defenders last week on a dot that Howell threw. But it's like they're getting the ball to Jahan, but they're not giving him those quality like downfield touches. What is going on?
I don't think it's time to panic. They're 2-0 and they're winning games, so they're not really concerned with who is or isn't getting the ball right now. But yeah, I know it's a little frustrating because of the draft capital and fantasy that he's not getting out there and getting it done like you wanted to. But the QB is still young too. He's still getting in the flow of things. Brian Robinson looked good last week, but he's kind of the safety blanket. So of course he's going to get work, and Terry McLaurin is that first read. So I think as things slow down a little bit and we start to see get in the groove of the offense, I think Jahan's gonna do better. So not to panic, but just weigh the matchups, weigh the options. You know, that he's probably in that spot where you have a couple of guys on your bench that have either come to the surface that you're thinking about starting, or you have kind of a linear player that you could put in to fill in for Dotson for a week or two until we see some uptick.
I like.
All right.
Okay, as far as the Bill side, you're starting James Cook. His ascension is it's just dumb this year. It's everything everyone wanted last year. I drafted him a year too early last year, but he's so far this year. You're starting Diggs. Gabriel Davis, if you're in a matchup where you're predicted to lose and you need some explosive, you got to swing for the home run. You can't go safe. If you're predicted to lose, you got to swing for the fences and get like the ceiling. You're playing ceiling. Gabriel Davis is that guy. He's the ceiling guy. He's been getting a nice target share. He's caught everything in training camp. He's caught everything so far this season, and that's been his problem is drops. As long as he's catching the ball, Gabriel Davis is going to be a problem.
Don't play him if you have Diggs, though.
No, of course not.
And I do think that and to help you out, Sammer, I think Gabe Davis is a really good trade fodder right now. You know, because he has. Yeah, so pairing him with somebody else to go out and upgrade a position, I think is a really good idea, especially while we've seen a little bit of work out of him, because Diggs can take over games, and we've seen this over and over again where Gabe Davis will just disappear. Mm-hmm. You know, he'll end up goosing you. So before you get the goose, get out there and get a trade.
Like it
before the gander shows up. All right, we got 8 matchups, so we're gonna go through these a little bit more rapid fire, guys. So I'm gonna toss one at each of you, and just give me starts, sits, and just let's crank through these so we keep this show concise and short. Next one, Colts Ravens. Latte, starts and sits on either team. Go.
I'm starting Flowers. You're starting Zach Moss. Obviously, if Anthony Richardson plays, you're starting Anthony Richardson. You're starting Michael Pittman.
Lamar.
The Ravens, you're starting Lamar. I think Justice Hill hurt his toe, so he's out now. So, I mean, you got to go with Gus Edwards. I heard that's what I heard today. Correct, Tony? Justice got hurt, right, in practice?
Yeah.
You're starting Lamar. You're starting Flowers. And who's at home, Sammer?
Ravens.
I believe that one is in Baltimore, so definitely don't start Jonathan Taylor.
No, you're not starting. And AR, if he's right, I mean, I would play him just because of the running upside. I'm going Ravens. Switch it up a little bit. I'm going to pick winners and losers. Go, Sammer. Next one.
All right. Patriots, Jets. Tony, go.
Starting Hunter Henry, starting Brees, and you're going to start Garrett Wilson. That's it.
Running backs, Patriots, sit on all of them.
Who's your winner?
I'm taking Patriots.
All right, next.
I'm gonna trust Bill on this.
I agree. Latte, Team Deer, Tar Heart, the Panthers versus the Seahawks at the home of the the what are they called? The 12th man? Yeah.
The 12th man.
Big 12.
Panthers fans. Long time ago, I used to care about you and be mad at you when you had D'Angelo Hall and Jonathan Stewart.
I was gonna say, I love how you guys don't really shit on the Panthers just because of their pedigree.
They're just like little brother. One of them tried to talk to us on Twitter. One of them tried to talk crap us on Twitter, and we're like, "You're so cute. Just stop."
Oh, look at you.
Listen. Rapid fire. Back to the rapid fire. Panthers fans, I'm sorry. You're still going to be the cute little kid. Your quarterback is lining up behind centers. He doesn't know where he's at on national football. Is national TV. His running back has to nudge him over to get behind center. The Panthers are not going to win.
Don't play any Panthers.
Don't play Panthers. You're playing Geno. You're playing Kenneth Walker. You're going to play, oh my God, the man beast. Metcalf. And then the receiver that never ages, for the love of God. He's have like 2 touchdowns already, 3 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett. You're starting all those guys. I don't know what's going on, Tony. You're real big on JSN. I'm picking the Seahawks, and then a 10-second response. What the fuck's going on with JSN? Because I had to start him last week. He didn't do anything. What's going on?
Again, offensive line. This is JSN is the third read. I've seen him get some separation, but shout out to Geno. I mean, Geno has been making it happen and been pretty efficient with what he's been able to do, but he is scrambling a lot. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to get to JSN in his progressions with the way things are going. He doesn't have long to hold onto the ball.
Oh, I'm taking the Seahawks, smashing. They're destroying the Panthers. Sorry, 0-3. Next matchup.
Bears, Chiefs. All right, I can make this one easy for you guys. Play anybody you have on the Chiefs. Don't play anybody on the Bears. Done. Next, Cowboys.
But wait. The Justin Fields says he's going to play instinctually.
No. Don't matter. Until they let him run every single play and just
Schemed
play.
runs. Come on.
Yeah, just.
Sammer, I have to ask Tony because it'd be irresponsible. Tony, what is your panic meter on Justin Fields 1 to 10, and are you trading him or are you trading for him?
Dump him. Fuck trade. Who's going to trade for him?
Nobody's dumping him at the Capitol.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's grabbing him because it seems like it's up to the team. We saw the same start last year, and then they started scheming him into these run plays, and he started balling. So I know it sucks to take your franchise and put it on a mobile quarterback because we've seen it happen over the years. RG3, all these guys that just end Cam, all these guys get beat up and then they can't play anymore. But that's all you got right now. So do it.
Yeah. Next matchup.
Yep. I agree. Cowboys at the trying their best to look competitive, but ultimately lose every single week. Arizona Cardinals.
This is me, right? Listen, you're starting all your Cowboys. Start of the week, Dallas Cowboys defense.
Hell yeah.
You're going to start Connor, right? You're going to start Connor because he's looked really good, looked really light on his feet. He's going to get volume. They're not going to let the quarterback.
Volume is going to be all he'll get.
That's all he's going to get. But they're not going to let whoever the hell the quarterback is now just get, destroyed back there because that's what the Cowboys do. They just rush your quarterback. So
I'm not playing running back either, though, man.
If you have to, if you drafted him with the capital you did, some people don't have a choice. You got to.
Might be easier just leave that spot empty.
Just leave it.
Yeah, just don't
I
get
could
the
see him getting
negative
negative. I could see him getting negative.
The first week of the season, the Cowboys defense got the guy that has in my league 58 points, dude. That's disgusting. So I'm picking the Cowboys. Clearly,
Cowboys
next
smash
matchup
in the desert. Yep.
Next matchup.
game.
Old school Steelers versus the Raiders in Vegas.
Oh wait, he's not.
This is you, Tony.
He's not.
No, he's gonna. No, I did this on purpose.
Oh, you.
I want Tony to pick this game. Steelers, Raiders.
A lot of people are sneaky picking the Raiders, bro, because you're second.
Right.
Nothing sneaky about it, Latte.
I went against the over-under on one of the earlier games we talked about, but I am going to go with Vegas on this one. I do think I think the Raiders win this game. Yeah, it is what it is. So I'm starting Najee. Same thing as James Conner. He's going to get the volume. We may see a little more Warren. If you're really in a pinch, you're one of the Chubb owners or somebody that's, you had Dobbins and Chubb or something, and you might be able to sneak Warren into your flex. He might give you some production. Start Pickens, and that's it on the Steelers side of the ball. Raiders, does anybody know the latest on Jacoby Myers? Is he good to go?
Don't know. I can look it up for you while you were breaking down Josh Jacobs. Everybody else, though.
Man, this has been weird with these concussions. I really haven't seen a whole lot of news on any of the concussion, like guys under concussion protocol. But yeah, so
he practiced in a limited capacity today.
Jacobs, you have to start. Okay, so if he practiced in limited, that means he's passing the, whatever you call it, the bullet points that he has to pass to be on schedule. So, I would start Jacoby Myers, and you have to start Jacobs. Like I said, you just got too much capital in him. He's been catching passes. He's gonna show up at some point. He will. I mean, I'm trusting that they're gonna figure out how to get him out there and running right. And like I said, Raiders by a slim margin.
I know
All
that.
Right, I'm gonna do the Rams and Bengals first. We'll go with you again, Tony.
Don't hold
Rams are not you, Tony. Sorry, I'm gonna go to Latte with this one. Rams, Bengals, Latte starts, sits, and who wins?
Wow, dude,
it's gonna be a good game in my opinion.
You have to play your Bengals because of the draft capital you used, and I feel like it's redundant. I could keep saying it, but it's just fact. You got to start Chase. You got to start T. Higgins. You're going to start Mixon. You're going to start Joe Burrow, depending if he's hurt, whether he's hurt or not, or he plays. But if he plays,
now that said, if he is hurt and he doesn't play, who does that change any of your starts and sits?
Got to start him. It's the same thing with Garrett Wilson, right? Like I lost Aaron Rodgers, but Jamar Chase is still a stud, bro. They're still going to try and get him the ball. They're still going to run Mixon. T. Higgins maybe drops a couple spots.
That's
But
kind of what I was thinking. Definitely Mixon, definitely Chase.
they're still gonna and there's and
They're going to lean on those guys. They're going to lean on them if they don't have their starting quarterback. Go ahead, Latte.
Sure.
Sorry.
I'm trying to find the over under. There it is. The Rams. I'm starting Kyron. He had a great fucking week, and it's his backfield now. Puka, a target monster. What is it like? 50 targets in the first 2 weeks.
Come on, Puka.
Puka's been insane. Cup might not
2.0,
come
man.
back. Cup might not come back. I'm kidding. And
I can't wait to see when he's back. What's going to happen?
this
And Stafford is dealing, man. Stafford is absolutely dealing this
Sammer,
season,
if
so-
you need a streamer, that's what I said. If you need a streamer, I like me some Stafford, and the Bengals are down right now. I think the Bengals going 3, dude. I'm picking the Rams. With the way the Rams have played and the way the Bengals have looked with all the injuries piling up, I hate to say it because they're an entertainment team, but I'm picking the Rams, dude. Next
I agree with
matchup.
you. I think Rams win it, but it's going to be a fun game to watch.
If you're watching this, this is our third show. We're going to start writing this down so we can keep track of mine and Tony's records, see who has more wins and losses, etc. But keep track of it in the comment for us. And if you want to see, we look beautiful. We look absolutely beautiful. So if you listen to this audio, make sure you come over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Come check us out. Interact.
Yeah,
come
before
on.
I forget, before I get this last matchup over to Tony, hey, if you're enjoying the show, hit the like button. Leave us a comment. You can tell us we're absolute morons, or you can ask us a question leading up to another week, or give us a pat on the back or a high five for leading you in the right direction after you win your Week 3 matchup. And, of course, if you're new, hit that subscribe button so that we can continue to grow the channel and continue to create awesome content like this.
Last
Tony,
one, Sammer, because I mentioned the audio people. We love y'all. Leave us a review, yo. You just scroll down a little bit, 5-star, leave a comment. Let us know what we're doing, what you want to see. If you were doing something better, if you want a segment, a particular segment you want, but just leave us a review. That helps us with the algorithm, helps the podcast grow. This is a passion thing, but we need your help.
We're gonna put in the work.
Absolutely.
You guys come out, you give us, you subscribe, you follow us, do all that stuff. The more we get, we're gonna give out what we're getting in. And this thing's going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to get stuff going on. Hopefully, at some point we're going to be able to trap some interns in a warehouse and have them just crunch numbers and do like guys that are even nerdier than me.
Tony,
that are just going to.
We don't talk about the warehouse.
Oh, we're not supposed to talk about the warehouse.
Or the warehouse.
Yeah, don't do
I
that.
bet we don't have a warehouse.
Thanks.
The premier matchup of the week, guys. Okay.
Now hold
this
on.
This is a game
but
that
why
everybody has
why do I
circled.
have to go over my homers
But I don't.
and then you skip over Sammer, bro? All right.
Hey, listen. Listen. You're a friend.
Nothing's on
You're
accident
not,
here.
you're not my brother yet. So, Latte,
Oh, not
I
family
wasn't
yet.
going to set him up. I wasn't going to have him jinx my team by picking against us or anything of that nature through that game.
I would never pick against us, bro.
No, but you would have had to talk politely of the Eagles. So I made sure that you didn't have to do that. And I know how much it hurts a Pittsburgh guy to talk well about a Philadelphia team. So with that being said, Tony, the premier matchup of the week, the matchup in the game that everyone has circled as the absolute game to watch this week.
Game of the week.
Eagles coming down to a very, very hot, not just on paper and on the thermometer, right? Buccaneers team, okay? Eagles, Bucks, matchup of quarterbacks that are absolutely going to be in the Hall of Fame. We got wide receivers that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. We got Hall of Fame defenses. We got offensive linemen that are locks. I mean, what are we talking about? This is basically
the matchup with history. We shut down the vet. It's Rondé Barber night, baby.
Could be a preview of the NFC Championship in a couple of months, okay? The Eagles at the Bucks. Tony, your winners are your winner and who you're starting, and obviously it should be.
Hold on, Tony. Before you start, you need context, okay? You know the history between these teams. Rondé Barber shut down the vet in the NFC Championship with the pick six, biggest play in Buccaneer history.
Amazing.
Rondé Barber went into the Hall of Fame this year. You're aware of that, right?
Yep.
Guess what they're doing at halftime of this game? Rondé Barber gets his Hall of Fame ring.
There's a lot of magic.
The ghost of Rondé. There's magic in the air, dude.
There's going to be a lot of magic in there, so keep that in mind when you're making ridiculously dumb
decisions.
We're not trying to
sway you. We're not trying to sway you.
Tony.
It kind of seems like you guys are trying to sway me,
No, we would never do that. We're a respectful,
but
nation here.
I am again going to go against Vegas here. Of course, on the Eagle side of the ball, you're starting AJ, you're starting you're starting Devonta Smith. Goddard starting backfield. I think we're looking at a committee now. I think Swift showed enough that
You don't
we're
think they
gonna
give it
have.
all to Swift after the 170 yards rushing? They'd be insane.
He might get injured. You know that guy. Can't give him too much.
Yeah, and we're looking at the Bucks defense. Bucks side of the
Phenomenal
ball
against the run. Very stout in the
and
middle.
you're starting Hurts. Bucks side of the ball, man. This is why I'm saying I'm coming from an unbiased opinion, even though we did get a lot of build up to this matchup. There
That was
is
just a
magic
matchup.
happening. There is magic happening, not just the magic with Rondé Barber and the ceremonial stuff going on, but we talked about this before. The team is having a great time, and Baker is looking phenomenal. He's doing great. So all the haters that we've been seeing on Twitter that's coming at Sammer, coming at Poppy, coming at Stank about Baker, keep it coming because it seems to be feeding the cannons. You guys are just packing the cannons down. So yeah,
I
you're
love packing Canis, dude.
Or
you're,
pack.
you're starting Evans. You're Rashad is looking much better. You're starting the backfield. You're starting Baker.
The tough
If
run
anybody,
defense.
if Burrow doesn't start this week, I think there's a lot of people that are gonna. I don't have the percentage on the screen right now as to how much Baker's rostered, but I'm sure he's still available in a lot of leagues.
He's a sneaky QB1 option moving forward after people were
He
saying
is a
he's not even
QB1
a
right now.
draftable guy, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, that's just the Buccaneer magic, right, Tony? You're feeling it.
It's happening. It's I said it before when a team rallies together and they're having a great time playing football. All these guys love football, but sometimes you get a cancer in the locker room or you have a couple of bad games that gets guys in the wrong mindset and they start thinking like, why am I not getting targets? Why am I not this? Why am I not that? Right
Or
now there is
distraction that's out
none
of
of
there.
that in Tampa.
Yeah.
You're having some trouble in Philly where Hurts hasn't really got it going, and I'm going against Vegas. I got the Bucks at home. I'm taking the Bucks at home.
Hell yeah. All right. That was awesome. That was fun,
We
guys.
didn't sway Tony at all. We didn't say
We didn't sway Tony at all. There was no money exchange before or after the pod. We'll end it with you guys each giving what we call them get them in, which are your must starts of the week. Tony needs to take a little bit of a break. I know he's a little bit overexcited right now having to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their magic. So we'll go with you, Latte. With
Well, I
your
gotta get
'em
excited
in.
about some team, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense. You're going to be a Bucks fan by the end of the year. It's fine. Latte, your absolute must-start guy this week.
I get him in, man. I'm getting this one in. Listen, Kirk Cousins.
What?
Okay, hear me out. The matchup is juicy. The Chargers defense it's no Tampa defense, and it's going to be a freaking shootout. Kirk is going to have to air it out. He looked great against Philly, even with a ridiculous pass rush on his face. What did he put up? 36 points last week, Tony? He went off.
Yeah.
I think that continues because they're going to have to match Herbert. Herbert and them are slinging. They're coming, bro. I saw a ridiculous stat that in the last whatever games that they've lost by that score, Tony, the Chargers, Justin Herbert's like 700 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they continue to lose. You know what that is? Because they have no defense. So start Kirk Cousins because they're going to have to go toe-to-toe with the Chargers, and neither side has defense. It's going to be
Yeah, you're looking at the same thing on the other side of the ball. Both quarterbacks are doing it, and Kirk Cousins has that way of just doing enough to lose the game, but put up amazing line for fantasy. So yeah, I think this is going to be one of the great games for fantasy this week. It start everybody. My gotta get him in.
Before you get yours in, I was going to say Kirk Cousins will top 350 yards, will throw more than 3 tutties, and will throw an interception to Derwin James. Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, look at that.
My gotta get him
Clip
in.
it.
We talked about him earlier.
Nailed it.
Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers this week looking really good. He's facing the second worst pass defense in the league. He has been ripping through their depth chart. I consider him the one already. I think OBJ is going to be a non-factor this year.
Like
We've
Neo,
heard
the
Rashad
one?
Bateman's. What's up?
Like Neo, like the one, like the Matrix, like the one.
No. I don't think he's going to start levitating on the field or anything. But I think one for the team. You know, he started out as the 3 on the depth chart, but like I said, OBJ's not going to do anything. And Rashad Bateman, we keep hearing this guy's name. We just keep hearing the name, but he can't stay on the field, and he hasn't really shown us anything consistent. So Zay Flowers is it. Mark my word right now. So make sure that if you're using Zay Flowers as trade fodder, make sure you get a grip for him. And that's my got to get him in guy. He's gonna show out this week.
And I don't have a got to get him in because I don't. But I will say this: I got to have you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a comment. If we nailed a pick for you, helped you win the week, and scored a bunch of tutties as a result, I think it's not too much to ask for a simple thank you in the comments section.
I don't think that's too much.
Latte,
By the way, Rashad Bateman is like me getting my vasectomy. It's afterward, big bang, but nothing happens. There's no substance.
Is that
Big bang, nothing happens. It's beautiful.
with that, Big Tutties is bouncing out. See you guys next week.
Bouncing out.
Bouncing.